Hey guys, what's going on? I hope you are well. Today we're gonna do a video that's a little bit different. We're gonna be talking about an issue that I see inside of men dealing with their hair loss, with hair systems. But here's the thing, I'm actually going to use it as a metaphor for other aspects of our life as men and really kind of make the case of why it affected me and why I think that you need to consider this in not only the hair system aspect of your life, but beyond. As a man, this is really, really powerful stuff. And I truly believe if you listen to this video, it may not be exactly about hair systems, but you're gonna get some value out of it. Let's hop in. With hair systems, there is very, very often, almost every single time, a issue that a guy has to solve. And that is, do I address this problem to people? Do I talk to people about the hair system? Do I talk to people about my hair loss? Or do I pretend like it's not a problem? Do I just pretend that, oh man, I woke up with hair one day, or I take time off and show back up with hair because it's grown, as opposed to just being real with people and saying, I've been dealing with hair loss. It's made me uncomfortable. Don't really feel like it's who I am. And then I want a hair system because it makes me feel better. This ability to first be honest, to be vulnerable, and third, to show up fully inside of our lives is massive. I think those three steps, honesty, vulnerability, and then third, showing up in fullness in our life, is absolutely vital for being a successful man. And I don't mean just successful as far as finances, being wealthy. I'm talking about being a successful man that shows up in relationships, in community, in your own life, driving you towards your goals and your dreams, so that you're living a life of joy and gratitude and connection. Now, I know that in the past, I have been afraid to show people parts of my personality. I would say that for a lot of my life, I segmented my life, if that makes sense. I unintentionally started to pick certain areas of my life, make friends in them, and keep them kind of constrained to a certain area of my life or concept of who I was. So that way they didn't know in full capacity who I was. And it wasn't that it was a conscious effort. What it was is my uncomfortability with full expression of my identity. It's uncomfortability with the fact that if I show an individual my fullness, that they actually might have a problem with part of it. And maybe that might result in confrontation, or maybe that might result in them, deciding they don't want to be friends with me. Now, this was like a subconscious belief. It was a schemata that was put in my brain pretty early because of, well, religion. I grew up as a Jehovah's Witness, and I never really identified inside of that religion. I never really wanted to be a part of it. I told my parents this pretty early on, but it's something that they chose to execute on and to have me follow through with until I was 18, when I was a legal adult and I could make my own choices. Now, in that, I learned pretty early that I could not be my full self as a Jehovah's Witness. There was very few kids my own age that were in the proximity, within like 100 miles of me, that were Jehovah's Witnesses. And I made friends with some of them as a teenager, but what happened is every single time I would start to show up as myself and make choices that were slightly divergent. And it sounds really silly to say this now, but grow my hair out and not look like a clean cut person that was just walking the streets knocking on doors. But if I decided to grow out my hair because I wanted to be a little bit of a rocker, that became a problem. If I wanted to watch movies or read books that were kind of unapproved by Jehovah's Witnesses, like Harry Potter, or God forbid, I'll say it, Twilight. It is what it is. I watched Twilight. But if I wanted to watch that stuff and I told my friends about it, I would often get told on, and I would get in trouble. I would have to talk with like the elders, or basically like, the priests in the church, if you will, and have a sit down with them and get corrective. All this stuff to say that very early in life, I learned it was unsafe to show up in my fullness because it was not gonna be accepted and it was actually gonna be punished. It felt like I was exposing a part of my personality, not showing up in my fullness. And I see this now, like as I kind of hit like 28, 29, 30, I decided that I wasn't going to do that anymore, that I was going to start showing up fully inside of my life and show people every single aspect. And a lot of this is due to my relationship with my girlfriend, Natalie, who I'm still with. A lot of this is just me not being content with showing people like an individual part of myself and feeling like I didn't really have a place to belong because I didn't allow myself to belong. Anyways, here's the thing, right? Like when men are going through this problem with their hair loss, with hair systems, and they're afraid to show up fully, I'm not so concerned with that choice. But what I am concerned with is how does that manifest in every other aspect of your life? Are you going out there and you're compartmentalizing things? Like you have your online like hair system buddies and community, maybe even me, but in real life you feel alone because you're not sharing it with people. And community is really important. Here's the really interesting thing. Like I see a lot of people online that are talking and say that, well, they don't want to share it with folks in real life because they don't want to get made fun of, or they've had people make fun of their hair loss in the past. In my life, as I have come to accept my hair loss and actually share my hair system story with people, more often than not, I mean, I think just about every single time, everybody has been incredibly supportive. I'll be like, yeah, you know, this hair, I lost my hair really, really early, and it was beyond really getting a transplant, so I decided to get a hair system. This is not my real hair. It's actually like essentially a partial wig, and people are blown away. They're like, are you serious? It looks really good. Like I would have never known. That's the end of the conversation. That's the end of the conversation. It lets them a little bit into my life, my perspective. I can also start to share some of the business things that I'm doing inside of that space with them, and just be more fully honest. And that's a really amazing thing. You know, I've experienced the pain of like fractaling my life, so that way there's compartments and they're each discrete. It's not a good feeling. It's not a good feeling. What is a great feeling is showing up 100% as myself and just being like, this is who I am. This is Jake. This is my identity. Hair loss, spirituality, business, rock climbing, snowboarding, all of these things, and just being like, this is my flag in the ground that I stand next to, because this is who I am unequivocally, unshakably, and I know that. And if you like it, great, and if you don't, here's the door. That is such a strong place to come to as a man, because from there, man, you start to be able to not only know where you are, but where you want to go. It's so hard to know where you want to go if you don't know even where you are. It's crazy. I was constantly living in comparison when I didn't accept who I was in my fullness. Now that I live in my fullness, I don't need to compare. I know where I want to head, but I'm not constantly looking at people being like, oh man, their life, oh man, their life, oh man, their life. Now I can just say, this is my life. I am unique, special in my own greatness, just as everybody else is. And I'm gonna head in a specific direction, and I don't care what anybody else thinks. That's liberating, super liberating. And I want you to be liberated too. One thing I've said on this channel is that you know, I want to make more content that's deeper, not just about hair loss, hair systems. Talks a little bit more about the psychological, that mindset piece, because that's my true passion, is building better men. And that goes way deeper than hair loss. That's part of it, but it goes way deeper. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoy this. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys soon.